Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Drum Room. In this third of our series of videos of gear that can be obtained at and through Marshall Music. Today I'm going to be discussing, and I have had this for a long time since this kit arrived, from a bunch of guys saying to me, please post a video, we want to hear what this Padauk kit sounds like. So today I'm going to talk to you about the actual drum set that I play. I've been with SPAUN for about 8 years now. I think this is the second kit that Mr. Brian SPAUN built me. The first one is a maple kit. I will show you what it looks like now. This one is a Padauk kit. And if memory serves me right, I think this is the first all Padauk kit that SPAUN Drums have built. So this is not the only one in the country. It's also, as far as I know, the only one in the world. I will get back to why I decided to go for Padauk wood after I've done a lot of research and I've spent a lot of hours. As a matter of fact, the entire designing process of this kit took up to, I think, about 7 months, if memory serves me right. About wood and timbre and sustain and how dark it is, and how's the top end on it and how's the bottom end on it. And eventually, I first wanted to go for a hybrid shell kit. I mean, hybrid shell thing is kind of, all the manufacturers do it now, and they make really, really gorgeous sounding instruments. So I wanted to go for a hybrid shell kit, American ash with a maple core and a walnut inner plies, all of that. And I discussed all of these options with SPAUN Drums, and that's what makes them so unique and so incredible, is the fact that you can literally have everything and anything made that you can think of. So I will discuss this kit with you, but first let me show you what my first kit looked like. Okay, hi, welcome back. So this was the first kit that I actually got from SPAUN Drums. Now let me tell you about the features of SPAUN custom drums. As I mentioned before, there are a lot of guys that make a lot of incredible instruments, but I kind of fell in love with this. It happened about, I would say, about 15 years ago. I was on tour in the UK, and I, like a typical drummer, a typical musician, when you're in another country, the first thing you go looking for is a music store. So I went to a music store, Wembley Drum Centre, as a matter of fact. And I went there, and it was straight after I saw the Steve Smith clinic, and I was all hyped, and I want to go check drums out and all of that. And I walked in there, and all the usual suspects were there. The usual amazing drum builders were there. GMS, Gretsch, USA Customs, DW, the Pull Masters, the Masterworks. Think of it, and it was there. And back in the corner was this little kit parking over there, and it had this, what they call it, the elephant skin finish. So I looked at this kit, and it had this weird name called SPAUN, and I thought, who can take a drum company with the name SPAUN seriously? Until I picked up a stick and I started playing this little kit, and and I went through everything else, and I just found myself keep on going back to that little kit in the corner. The manufacturing of it, the sheer sound of the kit, the quality, all of that was just, it just blew my mind. So jump forward quite a substantial amount of years. I started playing SPAUN about 8 years ago. So the features of SPAUN Drums, first of all, it's a thin shell. As you can see here, it's a thin shell, no rear-rings top or bottom, and his standard practice, Mr. Brian SPAUN's standard practice, is a double 45 bearing edge. A lot of manufacturers use a single 45 and some other different angles, but he uses a double 45 on a thin maple shell. Then these little lugs are actually solid brass. They are not hollow, they're solid brass. It gives the drum a bit more of a meaty feel to it. But yeah, this is basically what it is. And I wanted this, I think this color is, if I remember correctly, it's called Trans Purple Bull. So the kit was really gorgeous. And yeah, this was my first kit, and this kit I've got in the sizes of 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 toms, and a 22-inch kick drum. So fast forward to the Padauk. Hey, welcome back again. Okay, this is what SPAUN Drums refer to as their designer series, where you can literally have your best friend molded into a drum, should you prefer to do that. Okay, so this is Padauk wood. As I mentioned now, the quest for me, for what I was looking for something that sounded slightly more vintage. I've got the more pop sounding or rock sounding or jazz sounding, whatever you want to call it, maple kit. So I wanted something different, and we ended up with Padauk wood. Padauk, first of all, there's no boosted highs, mids or lows. It's a very neutral sounding wood. It's harder than maple, but softer than, for instance, bubinga, which kind of sits in the middle. So it's got a bit more, you'll hear now when we do a sound clip, it's got a bit more of a raunchy bite to it. But on this particular drum, or in this particular drum set, of which I ordered 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 toms, an 18, 22 and a 24 kick drum. The one I record in the studio is a 24. It just, I mean, people have remarked on this kick drum and how incredible this thing records. So yeah, I record the 24. I work with the 22 mostly for other stuff. And when I have to play an acoustic or a jazz little setup, I use my little 18-inch kick drum. And all three of them work wonderfully. As you can see here, of those of you that can, I mean, this drum, or this drum kit, I ordered with rounded bearing edges, more vintage kind of classic, all rounded over bearing edges. And I also wanted to go slightly shallower. I know, especially on kick drums, the tendency over the last couple of years was to make the kick drums go deeper and deeper and deeper. But I decided, okay, I've got the deeper kick drum, I'm going to go for shallower now. So I actually went for the 22 by 17, so it's sitting somewhere in between 16 and 18. I went for a 22 by 17. And on this I decided I want to go really old school. So I went for 24 by 16. And you'll hear now when we record this kit how amazingly good this kick drum sounds. So yeah, now I shared this with you. Again, it's Padauk wood. It's all Padauk wood. It's all Padauk shells. It's not just the outer layer. It's an all Padauk shell, kind of an orangey wood. And as it gets older, it kind of matures into a bit more of a burgundy, which will be even more beautiful. Again, solid brass lugs, triple flanged hoops. Again, thin shell, slightly thicker shell than the maple. But you'll hear the kit still sounds really, really good. No reinforcement rings and rounded over bearing edges. So let's listen to what this kit sounds like. Okay, before we run through all of the individual drums, let me just mention the snare drum. We'll get back to this in one of the next episodes. This is probably the most expensive snare drum that I own, and also one that I am really fond of. It's a very special drum. It's also made by SPAUN Drums. It's what they call an edge vent, but I'll explain this to you later. And it's got wooden hoops, great sounding drum. Okay, so let's run through the kit individually. As I mentioned now, I've got a lot of toms, but funny enough, I actually started playing a 4-piece setup for a while because I lost one channel on one preamp that I used to record Tom 2 with. So it was necessary for me to kind of fly one tom, and I started enjoying playing the 4-piece setup for the recording thing. I'm still very comfortable with playing 2 toms, but for now this to me is great. I love it like this. Okay, so let's run through this kit and see what it sounds like, and then I will do a comparison between the Padauk tom, which is a 12-inch, and the maple tom, which is also a 12-inch. I must just mention that everything you hear now is the room, the kit, the preamps, the mics going into the computer. There's absolutely no EQ on here whatsoever. It would be pointless for me to tell you what a kit sounds like if it is all EQ'd and processed. So let's put it in the groove and see. Okay, in comparison, here's the Padauk tom, 12-inch. And here's the maple tom, same mic, same preamp, same everything, different drum. So you can hear that maple is slightly more warm and smooth. The Padauk's got a little bit, it's got a lot of maple character in it, but it's got a little bit more of a raunchiness, a little bit more attack, which I wanted to control, and that's why I went for the rounded edges, to make the drum slightly less attacky, because you're sitting with a harder wood already. Slightly less attacky, but more musical. But I mean, each one of these two drums, same goes for all the other sizes. Any one of these two drums sound fantastic. It depends on what sound you're looking for at a particular day for a particular recording. So as you can hear, these instruments really sound good. Whether you go for a maple sound, a Padauk sound, or any other wood of your choice. They are really manufactured well, and they are a pleasure to play. If you guys are interested in the SPAUN product, click on the link below and go to Marshall Music so the guys can hook you up. Cheers, and I'll see you again soon.